Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And guys, I just had a cup of coffee. It is almost midnight right now. And as we do look at things happening around this space, one of the biggest things that we have been noticing is a lot of talk around Ethereum. Now, let's go back in time and let's look at a few things. Now, of course, coin market cap is not right on par with the facts. We do know that Ethereum almost hit $600 billion in market cap. It was like 580 some billion, but it doesn't matter, right? Because we have here that it was right around like 548.39 billion. Again, coin market cap is not 100% on par. It's not like a full on, to the T, perfect market cap, but we will go over this, right? We will go off of the $548 billion of market cap. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when we look at XRP, we know XRP, even at its all-time high, only held about $130 billion worth of market cap. And recently on its spike back in April of 2021, it was about roughly $81.5 billion in market cap. And even just recently on the spike back in July was about roughly almost $43 billion in market cap. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, we're going to get into that, but first I do want to go over the idea of if XRP can hit the Ethereum's market cap at the all-time high of 2021. If we did this, we would be sitting at about roughly $10.28 per XRP, an upside of about roughly 19x. Now, as we look at this, what was the major thing that drove Ethereum to that market cap? It was the NFT craze. We would need something very similar to the NFT craze around XRP, in my opinion, without utility. The reason why I'm saying without utility is because we're not yet in a utility bull run. When we're talking about utility, yes, anything is possible. I do think that we will see double-digit figures for XRP. But if we are talking about short-term, like we're talking about this next major cycle that's brewing, Bitcoin halving coming up in 2024. If you're following that, if you're following the 4-year cycle, then we are pretty close to the bull run. Again, we don't know what's going to happen, so we can't get our hopes up. We can't be emotional here. We just need to make sure that we are very vigilant and we understand the risk of holding, an asset to a specific target. That's why we always take profits along the way, and at specific levels that we have in our exit plan. But overall, as we look at XRP, would it be crazy to think that XRP could hit the market cap that Ethereum did have in 2021? In my opinion, no, it's not that crazy. I mean, listen, as we look at XRP and what XRP did during that recent spike, I mean, this was a pretty significant move. I mean, going from roughly $25 billion in market cap all the way up to almost $43 billion in market cap, that is a significant jump overnight, essentially. So anything is possible. I mean, listen, there could be wild news that gets released around XRP being utilized in X, target area X, whatever. That could boost the price. Now, do I look forward to seeing those announcements, and do I need those announcements to, move the price of XRP? No, not necessarily. But I do think that there's a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't know. NDAs are in place. Who knows how many central banks are on par utilizing or wanting to tap into on-demand liquidity. Like, there's a lot that we don't know. And again, that's me speculating. That's me, thinking that there could very well be NDAs out there. We already know major banks want to utilize XRP with on-demand liquidity. Bank of America was one to actually say this. I think that they're actually waiting until Ripple gets cleared around the SEC. And that's what they're mainly probably looking at, because again, like, they could use XRP today. They could use XRP and have been able to use XRP for a while, but they want to utilize and tap into the RippleNet service as well and really kind of realize the value of XRP through that. So they want to see Ripple probably win the SEC case as well. Who knows how long that will take? I know that a lot of people have speculated on settlement. I don't care to do that because I don't want to get my hopes up. But I do think that when things kind of brew into a utility-driven market, the sky's the limit really on XRP. But I do think that when we compare it to Ethereum, now is probably the best time to be looking at the probability of flipping Ethereum, which we have done in the past. And even right now, Ethereum's market cap is $200 billion. I mean, when we look at $200 billion, that would be a $3.75 XRP right now. This is like roughly a 6x opportunity run. So why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about this? Well, because look at what's happening around Ethereum right now. Shout out to Minus Wells, but we do see hard time for Ethereum. There is not enough transactions to keep its supply deflationary. Are high gas fees pushing everyone to other networks? I think so. And listen, the big thing that we would be betting on with Ethereum to create a deflationary supply again is something like the NFT craze. And what's the chances of something like that happening? I would say that it's slim to none. Like what's going to bring, people from the retail sector out to buy NFTs again after everything that we have seen around NFTs? There isn't much. So when we look at this and we look at the supply is gaining. Even if it's a small percentage, it is still making Ethereum inflationary versus XRP, which is deflationary. A lot of people think, oh, well, look at the supply of XRP. When you look at the supply of XRP, right? Which, by the way, I don't have it on this chart. I could add that real quick. So there we have it. As we look at the total supply, the max supply, and the circulating supply of XRP, we know that it is a deflationary asset. And a lot of people get concerned over the total supply of XRP. But ultimately speaking, when we are talking about the use cases brewing behind the scenes with the XRP ledger, which we have gone over, combined with institutional grade adoption, the supply is actually very, very low for the demand that could very well brew around XRP. When we look at Ethereum, as Ethereum becomes inflationary, this is concerning. And it really kind of sets the stage for other networks and other assets like XRP, for an example, to kind of take over. And when we look at this, right, like this has become a big talking subject now. Ethereum supply is starting to grow again as gas prices plummet. We've seen even CoinDesk. The most pressing issue on Ethereum is validator size growth. And we do see if appetite for staking on Ethereum does not slow meaningfully over the next several months, the size of Ethereum's validator set could become problematic for the blockchain. Now, we also know that just recently on September 14th, the developers around the Ethereum protocol made a last-minute decision to include an additional code change to the issue of validator set size growth. Basically, it's going to be a stopgap for it. Now, we do see the validator attestation aggregation is almost at its capacity today. If we drop more validators on the network, it can really get worse. And if we actually look at the validators since the merge, look at this. This is extremely concerning. And again, like as we look at what's going on with Ethereum, like I do think that now is probably the best time to be looking into the third generation technology, those that are more efficient than Ethereum, those that are actually extremely efficient around enterprise and institutional grade adoption. And again, like this is why I say like Ethereum, it might be around, 5-10 years from now, but will it be in the top 10? It's questionable. And even outside of this, we do see Ethereum's Shanghai upgrade has been disappointing. You guys probably remember this. This is JP Morgan talking about it. And when you look at the changes here, like this is the change in Ethereum metrics since the Shanghai upgrade. And we actually do see the market cap is down about roughly 11%. Daily transactions down about 12%. The total stake Ethereum, 49%. Ethereum supply, about roughly 0.18%, but now we do know that it has increased 0.21% or something like that. Daily active addresses on the Ethereum network down about almost 20%. TVL down, 7.79% in terms of on the Ethereum network. We do see Arbitrum as well. In Ethereum mainnet, 16%. Again, on Optimism within the Ethereum mainnet, 20%. And again, even the daily dApps, we're starting to kind of see them drop a little bit on Arbitrum, of course. But as we look at Ethereum itself, we are seeing major negative changes. Outside of this, yes, TVL on Ethereum has gone down tremendously. But what I'm really kind of looking at is the daily users and new users as well. New users has essentially dropped off, which is crazy to me. Active users have pretty much been stable. It's nothing too crazy, but new users are pretty much at zero and have been at zero the last couple days. And when we do see new users, it's nothing too crazy. I mean, especially versus like when we go back to just recently in December of 2022, like we've seen about roughly 500,000 new users, but this has dropped tremendously to zero, basically zero. And I do think that we should be concerned about this, but I think that the main thing here is what's going to flip Ethereum? What's going to be taking its spot? A lot of people think it's XRP. A lot of people think that's Hedera. A lot of people think that's this, that, whatever. It doesn't really matter. All we know is that guess what? Now is probably the best time to be looking at what's going to be taking over. And also, decentralization is a big thing. It takes a hit as the blockchain native discontinues its relayer. Over 90% of Ethereum transactions are now handled by 4 relayers, raising fears of centralization. There's always been the fear of centralization around Ethereum because we've talked about this many times in the past, right? The number one thing to look at with Ethereum is the decentralization case. Martin Heisbowick from Uphold recently said, people are excited about Ethereum. A decentralized blockchain grew faster than any other tech. That isn't true. Ethereum isn't decentralized. It's owned and manipulated by a handful of individuals and companies, which together are a corporate entity by any other name, ETH. The more layer 2, T, and ZK proof they add, the more centralized it becomes. These are not the original ideals of crypto, but an aberration that will fail the test of time. And here we have Ethereum surpasses 10 billion revenue in 7 years, outpacing top software companies by nearly half the time. Interesting. Now, as we do look beyond this, we know Steven Narioff. He just recently said, hypothetically, if one commits securities fraud, wouldn't an innovative legal strategy be to get the SEC to say it wasn't a security, maybe even invent a confusion legal basis like decentralization that nobody understands, including the agency itself? Crazy talk, I know. And this is basically Steven Narioff hinting at the fact that the Ethereum original founders were most likely colluding with the SEC around this idea of decentralization. That way, they can get beyond the idea of it being a security and actually avoid securities fraud. Outside of this, we also see Johnny Deaton responding and saying Nancy Wodas was at the March 28th, 2018 meeting with Hinman and A16Z's attorney when the small working group met with Hinman. She wasn't at the meeting on June 8th, 6 days before the speech between Hinman and Vitalik Buterin. However, notice what someone in the know, like Nancy, says about Hinman's sufficiently decentralized conclusion. And also notice the immediate comment about Ripple. Check this out. This is a video posted by Digital Asset Buy back in 2021. And we do see God bless Nancy Wodas, truth teller, partner at Cooley, member of the venture capital working group who submitted the safe harbor memo to Bill Hinman, Wendy Moore, partner Perkins Coy. Why isn't Ripple? Check this out.
What's interesting is I don't think Ether is decentralized. I think it's fully functional, but I don't think it's decentralized. But the chairman, the division director said it's decentralized. So, hey, look at the metrics for Ether. And hey, you do a little better than that, hey.
Then why isn't Ripple?
Yeah, and I wonder if they would have said that 3 years back. I mean, now they came back and said Ether is not, it's not a security, but, it's now. How about 3 years back? Would they have the same answer?
There's no question. Ethereum violated the law in the SEC's view when it issued its tokens. He said that in the speech, even though consensus says, oh, no, that's not what he said. That's what he said. But then he said, look, the securities laws really doesn't add anything now because Ether is decentralized. Again, not. Yeah, exactly. So it's a long process.
And again, this has been the biggest thing. And listen, like, I don't care to say like, hey, let's target Ethereum. No, but I do think that the days of Ethereum being a dominant force within the space will soon come to an end, right? And at that point, we do question, like, what's going to take its spot? It's kind of the same thing that I always talk about with like Bitcoin. One day, Bitcoin will be dethroned. Whether or not people want to admit that or accept it, it's the truth. I don't buy Bitcoin. Why should I buy Bitcoin? It makes 0 sense for me to buy Bitcoin. Unless I have, millions and millions and millions of dollars that I'm going to throw into Bitcoin for maybe 5x, if that. Maybe even let's say it goes to $100,000. It's a little under a 4x return. Why the hell would I be interested in that? I mean, if I had millions and millions of dollars, yeah, I would love to do that. But outside of this, like, Bitcoin is not made for the traditional player. And even with regards to that, Bitcoin is not anything special. I mean, let's be real. Bitcoin paved the way for a lot of these other great assets like XRP to be, brought in. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin, just like Ethereum, is old age tech. There's nothing great about Bitcoin today. Besides it being a store of value, which again is questionable, let's be honest here. It's not built for payment use cases. It's not built for scalable use cases. It's not built for any use case outside of me holding it as a store of value, which again is questionable. So as we look at this space, yeah, I do think that, Ethereum, it's in a rough spot right now. I mean, is it going to die? Probably not. But do I think that it will cease to be in the top 10 eventually over time? Yeah, I think its days are nearly numbered. I think that unless they solve a lot of these problems, it's not going to look that good. I think that the recent merge was a big, I think it was a nail in the coffin, honestly, because it needs to sustain massive transactions. And when you have transactions that are $500 for a network fee, I mean, who the hell is going to be using Ethereum at scale, paying those astronomical fees? So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.